Hello everyone, my name is Passek, FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today we'll be tying a little cruncher pattern. It's a little squirrel cruncher. It's because it's using some squirrel tail for the front portion, for the wing portion if you want to call it that. So yeah, that's what we'll be tying today. I tie these, just so you guys know, I tie these in green. I tie them in a kind of a browny natural kind of color, and I tie them in a kind of a there's a blackish kind of looks like this, but more of the black than the brown. So I tie them in three different patterns here. So here we go. So starting off here with a Hook-Hends BL354, size 10. I'm going to be using some Semperfli NanoSilk in the white. Oh, hey, by the way, I should have shown you guys this earlier, but I should show you here. Semperfli came up with a new hat. It's awesome hats. Got Semperfli written all over the brim, and yeah, they're really nice, actually really good quality hats. So, okay, so I'm going to be using Semperfli NanoSilk in white. The reason I'm using white is because it's not going to be seen until the head, and the head I can always color. So just going to start off my thread as usual. I'm going to go back right almost to the bend, not quite, to the bend of the hook. And about there. Then, if I can find it, because the stuff is so uber light, it might have flown away in the meantime, and I might have to cut more. Yeah, it looks like it did fly away on me. Yeah, so I'm going to be using some of the Semperfli mirror tinsel in this antique gold, they call it. Absolutely love this stuff. It just, I don't know, I just really like it. It's so supple. It's so supple. The only two bad things about it: one, it's so damn light. One little, and it flies away. That's what happened because I had a piece cut here. It's somewhere now. And you gotta be really careful with it. It's not very strong. It does break and stretch really easily. So I'm gonna go back to about the bend, and then come back forward a bit to about there. And I'm gonna build just a little butt section with this stuff. Gotta be really careful around that hook tip. So just got to kind of take your time with it. You guys have seen me, if you've watched any of my other videos, you've seen me use this stuff before. I use it for chronim and ribs, and I use it for little nymphs and stuff, because it adds absolutely no weight for dry flies and stuff. So it's great, but it really shines. So just going to lock that down, and then I'm going to lay it back and put that into my material clip, because I'm going to use it as a rib. Now it's out of my way, and you want it, believe me, you want to use this as in your material clip. Looks like I missed a little bit there, but that's okay. Because this stuff, again, it'll get in the way of your procedures that you're doing next. So next, I'm going to take some of the Hens Gleamy dubbing, and I'm going to make my own mix of this green here, which is the number 9, and this brown, which is the number 14. So I just pop a little bit out. I'm just going to show you guys. I'm going to pop a little pile of each out. And if anything, I go a little heavy on the brown because the green does dominate. So I'm just going to take my green and my brown and just stack them, pull them apart, stack them, pull them apart, and just keep stacking it. That'll get it nicely mixed up, and it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. So this stuff's got a real nice sheen to it. That's why it's gleamy. It's kind of a seal's fur substitute, right? So just keep on stacking it until you're happy with the mix, and I'm fairly happy with that. It's not bad at all. So there's what your final product looks like. It's got a little bit of the green, a little bit of the brown. Okay. So I'm not going to use all that. I'll probably use only about half of that. So I'm just going to put it there. Hey, even that, look at that. Even that. Like I said, this stuff is so light that it gets the slightest little wind and it gets caught. So I'm just going to make myself a little dubbing loop. You can do a split thread if that's what you prefer. I'm going to come back about to there, and I'm going to grab my dubbing spinner, hook it in, take my dubbing, slide it in between, and then I'm going to spread this out nicely. It's nicely spread, so like that, and give my dubbing spinner a couple of good spins. One more. Make sure that's all nicely in there, and then I'm going to wrap. So I'm going to get a good wrap right at the butt there, and then I'm going to open it up and just touching wraps forward. And if you've got a little bit of extra like I do there, I'm just going to go right on top. It actually helps the next step because I'm going to put some CDC in, and that'll help splay it out. So tie that off. Cut that off. Stroke all your material back here just to make sure you're nice and clean in the front here. Take my tinsel and just run it through the body right up to the front. And then I'll take my Velcro and I'm just going to just touch it because I don't want to do too hard because I don't want to rip that tinsel, right? But I do want this body a little bit scruffy. Darn thing. Must keep bumping it. But got to figure out a way to have that thing set so it doesn't go out of focus on me. It's actually, it pulled my rib a bit, but that's okay. You won't see it really. You'll just see the shine from it. So, okay. So next, a piece of CDC. This time, and it's a hen CDC. I'm going to use a green one here. I do tie them with hotspot as well. I tie them with yellow, and I tie them with red as well. The CDC in behind. Again, it won't. Not a ton of it's going to be actually seen. It's more for the motion. You'll see a little bit of motion in the back, right? So I've just prepped my feather, and I'm just going to get it into my material clip. I'll get it to my bigger one here. So it's in my material clip. Nip this off. Just going to take, obviously, just like always, cut it off the center stem, so all you're left with is just the little butts and another little dubbing loop. Actually, no, for this one I'm going to do a split thread just so you guys can see the difference. I mean, most of you guys know already, but I'm counterclockwise spinning it. This is NanoSilk, so it splits really easy. Any of these GSPs do, but you guys got to make sure you find the flat. There we go. There we go. Like I said, it splits really easy and it's super strong, right? So put my clip in, let her go. Make sure she's all lined up the way I like it. Yep. Now just give my bobbin a really good spin, and I'll let her go. Get that thread spin to go into the CDC. There we go. So now I'm just going to go right back up against that dubbing, and I'm going to stroke back every wrap because you want to leave yourself a bit of room in here because the next step, the material's a little on the bulky side, and you can have a tendency to crowd the eye, and I've done it many times actually. I tied a oh hey look, there's that piece of tinsel. I tied a bunch of these up last week in different colors, and I actually crowded the head on a few of them because the first few, because you forget about it. But so again, just going to go back just a little bit And now I can do either, again, a split thread technique, or I can do a dubbing loop. I'm going to do split thread. Oh, no, that's got to go that way. There we go. So now I'll take my squirrel tail. I'm just going to, it's going to be hard for me to show you guys this, but I'm going to take about a finger width of material, and I'm going to put it in my clip. And as much as I love those the stone fold clips that you guys see me use, as much as I like these clips, for this I prefer this one, just a cheap steel thing that I got at the dollar store. And the reason is I find that it holds this material a little bit better, a little bit tighter. And until you get it into the thread, you want that being held fairly tight. So just gonna make sure you've got it. Okay, split thread. Put it in. I just want it close to the tips, to the butts, sorry. Give it a good spin. Until it's really well spun. You want to make sure you're holding tight on that that thread to keep it together, right? Otherwise you end up losing it. So there, I just gave it a really good spin there, and it took the spin of the thread and put it in. There we go. That's it. So, okay, and then you can pick through it a bit. Just gets rid of some of the stuff, because some of it, you did too much of it, right? So, okay. It's not very much of this, but that's what you want. So just every time you go around, you want to stroke all this back. Don't worry if some of it goes forward, because you can stroke it back and force it back on the when you build the head. So don't get overly concerned. It's looking pretty scruffy, but that's what it does at this stage, and you kind of want it scruffy, this one. Just a little bit of a head, get all that stuff stroked back. Again, don't go crazy and worry about every little strand. So now I'm just going to give it a whip finish. Not done yet, but give it a whip finish just to make sure nothing goes awry. Now what I like doing is just holding everything back out of the way, including the thread, and just giving a little doop with the lighter, just to get rid of any of those little stragglers that are up there. And then I'm going to give it another whip finish here, build a little bit more of a head to clean up those burnt ends. And you want a little bit of a head on this, not huge, but you do want a little bit of a head. So nice and tight. Get that off. Take my brush, just brush this out, make sure nothing's trapped. And then I will take my olive green marker and just give this a... Now, you can use thread, olive green thread. You can use this style. It's up to you. I could have put a little bit of a hot spot, put a red head on there, had a little bit of a hot spot. But yeah. So that's it. That's the fly. It like I said, it's sometimes I'll time like nice. This one's actually nice and sparse. I quite like them when they're really sparse like this with these the squirrel tail tips. There's a couple of loose ones in here. Let's see if I can get them out. Oh, no, that one's not loose. So I like them a little sparse like this. I also tie them a little thicker, like this guy here, and I put CDC instead of behind. I put CDC in the front. Right, and this one's got I've used rabbit mask. Right, the mask right between the eyes. Use that nice scruffy material, and then here's another one. Right, you see how this one, that one's crowded the crap out of the head, but you see that one there has got longer fibers. So, but yeah, like I said, I tie them. I even actually, the odd time, I'll even tie them like this with a peacock sword wing. Right, put a wing on them. So, but yeah, they're just they're a nice little fly to have in the box. They're a really good little attractor type pattern, and I've done it extremely well with them at times. So, but the whole cruncher patterns, or I mean the cruncher style, they're great. Now this isn't a traditional cruncher because it wouldn't have squirrel as the front hackle, or as the collar. But this is how I've been tying them for this pattern for a few years, and like I said, sometimes I've done extremely well with them, other times it's slow. But that's fishing. So, alrighty, well, hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. If you did, thumbs up. If you subscribed, thank you. If you have not, please consider doing so, and we'll see you guys on the next tying video. Tie lines.